This is a unit analysis, guys, not a waifu analysis, okay? If we're going to talk about who looks better here, it's obviously Brock, no contest, okay? Remember, guys, in chat, behave, not too much copy pastas, help out teacher because he's gonna get roasted by YouTube. Believe me, I'm gonna get roasted after this for making these comparisons. For science, okay? True science, guys. This is what's required for science, okay? Help me out, please. Alright, guys. Welcome to another Summer Banner seasonal release of 2018, where we do our traditional unit analysis and figure out what these units are good for. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying, please be nice in the comments below as I make some certain comparisons which may be very controversial or divisive. Please keep an open mind and consider that most of these things I do are in the context of people who don't spend a lot of money or don't have a lot of resources in the game, okay? So you'll notice right away as you've opened the video that we have Cordelia, front, face, and center, and we have Oscar on the far side. And you're probably asking me, teacher, why do you have Oscar there? I thought we were going to talk about the summer units. And you would be right, we are going to talk about the summer units. But this time, I'm going to add a few builds over there that will be very important to realize why some of these units are not as good as most people are probably saying. And I'm going to do a very good analytical take on this, okay? So, to start off, yes, here's Cordelia. Yes, we talked about skills in yesterday's video, and yes, she has very good stats. However, her stats, unfortunately, are not as crazy as something like 38-38 in a way that makes her stand out so crazily beyond other Blue Lance Cavaliers, which I said yesterday are so saturated that I pulled out my good friend Brock over there from Pokemon and I said, wow, his stat spread is fairly similar. Yeah, he has 1 more attack at base. Yeah, he has 4 less speed than Cordelia. But wait, hold on. I need to spend on average 120 orbs for Cordelia to get 1 copy of her and then hope that I get ideally either a plus speed or plus attack IV, which by the way would be about a 1 in 4, 1 in 5 chance. So if you were targeting plus attack or plus speed IVs on Cordelia, then you would need about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 Cordelias to be pulled, and they would hopefully not have minus speed or minus attack on top of that. So yeah, that's a lot of Cordelias that you have to pull. 400, 500 orbs to get an IV that you want. At that point, you're not a low spender, or you've been saving quite a long time. Now, what I did consider is that Oscar comes at 3-star availability, has good offensive stat spreads at 33-34 at base, and since he comes at the 3 and 4-star pool, guess what? It's probably very easy to pull him with a plus speed IV. So what is his stat spread compared to a Bridal Cordelia that's at neutral, or not the ideal IV? 33-37. What does that mean? They actually have a similar offensive stat spread. 33-37, neutral Cordelia is 32-38. Yes, I know that some people are going to say, oh, if I get a plus speed Cordelia, she's 41 speed. Oh, if I get a plus attack Cordelia, she's 35-38. And that does make her better. But unless you're that 1 in 4, 1 in 5 people who did end up lucking out to get that sort of stat spread, she's not going to be that much better than Oscar, considering Oscar is much... All you need is 20,000 feathers while you were pulling for something else, especially if you pulled recently for Bridal Ninian or a Legendary Banner. Now, because their stat spreads are so similar, you're looking at what should be good builds on both units. The high speed for either Flyers or Cavalier ideally just wants to use Fire Sweep Lance weapons, hit and run, get in there, get out, which is why you'll see me running Life and Death Drag Back, Fort Cav. In fact, I would use this exact same build on either of them, and you'll have a lot of success doing it. I want to talk on one quick thing here. Life and Death, obviously I use this on Fire Sweep Lance because you don't care about your defensive stat spread. You shouldn't be getting hit. Dragon Back is used to hit and run. But the reason I use drag back over hit and run, and some people may not realize this, is because drag back has some pretty decent utility where you could actually bring the unit back into the rest of your team comp and then follow up and kill them. Or if you fight against armors who run armor march, you could actually split up their formation of armor march and then reposition, and that unit doesn't have 2 movement anymore because you grab them out of their formation. So just a little bit of a take on that build. If you do end up getting this Summer Cordelia here, then yeah, you're going to want to run the build that I'm showing off here on Oscar. Again, like I said, 20,000 feathers or hundreds of orbs. this is a unit analysis, guys, not a waifu analysis, okay? If we're going to talk about who looks better here, it's obviously Brock, no contest, okay? Let's talk about our second unit. Next up, we have, oh look, another 3-star unit in the summer banner analysis. But wait, teacher, why are we just looking at a bunch of these boring units that I pulled hundreds of copies of? Yet again, we have the same predicament as we had with Cordelia. We have a fast archer in Noir. She does have objectively more stats because of that BST boost, but such a similar stat spread that you could pull out Setsuna here and really take advantage of the fact that you don't have to spend hundreds of orbs. And that's what I'm talking about, guys. See, the thing is, and I kind of didn't mention this with Oscar, if you wanted to build up, if you tell me, oh, I need a blue lance cav teacher, oh, I need an archer teacher, I'm not going to take you for that word, because all you have to do is invest in one of these units, the same exact thing, skills, nothing is different here, and adding merges is going to close that discrepancy between that stat difference. So for example, with Oscar, even if you did pull a plus speed Cordelia, and she had that 3 additional speed over Oscar, you could end up merging Oscar, gradually up to +6 or +7 if you really wanted to, and he would objectively become better than Cordelia, and it wouldn't cost you any orbs. See, when I say it doesn't cost you orbs, what I'm saying is you summon for another 5-star unit, something that's actually worth pulling for. Maybe Legendary Banner, maybe a few more merges, maybe Harden, maybe Robin, maybe Bold Fighter, Brazen Attack Speed off Winter Robin, whatever it might be, you're pulling for something else, and Oscar comes as a result of targeting that other 5-star unit. When you're targeting something like Summer Cordelia, well, that's the difference there. So same idea here. Setsuna, less attack than Noir, less defense than Noir. Cool. Noir, a little bit better when it comes to the units at face value at 5-star. However, Setsuna, you can count on having the right IVs right away. You cannot count on pulling, hundreds of orbs for Noir and hoping you get the right IVs. That's one thing to consider. You might end up with a minus attack or minus speed curse. And on top of that, you can gradually work on your Setsuna with merges to match the stat values that are provided through Noir, right? So, as I've shown you guys, if you do end up getting Noir, or you do end up considering building a Setsuna, there you go. You got Brazen Attack Speed, who's available off of Linus right now. Ardent Sacrifice puts you comfortably both in Brazen Attack Speed range and Desperation range. Fortified Defense is just there to assume that you're running her with some sort of tank. It can be subbed out for anything. And since she doesn't have as much attack as Noir, that's why I gave her like an attack 3 seal. So, yeah. It doesn't look too good when you look at the stat spread, so 38-35, but usually you pair them up with some sort of hone attack, hone speed, attack tactics, speed tactics, whatever it might be, and she'll do a lot of work. Give Setsuna a chance. If you're going to be pulling Noir, it'd probably be for infantry rush, but consider that we just had Legault demoted with attack tactic at 4-star. We had Ares with brazen attack defense at 4-star. It seems like we're starting to see some pretty good skills show up in our summoning pool recently. And you can expect Infantry Rush to show up in a permanent pool soon enough, maybe even as a seal. I don't think this skill is as good as most people give it credit for. I talked about it yesterday. I'll go over it again just slightly. Infantry Rush is an enemy phase skill at heart. Heavy Blade is usually a player phase skill. Now when you combine both, there's a little bit of a clash there in their utility, and therefore it's not as good. So, sorry guys. At least Noir has a good chest though, right? Now here's the hottest thing on this banner. Teacher, why? Why would you do this? Why would you put up Shershi to compare to Innis? Innis has so much speed more than Shershi does. How could you even make that sort of comparison? And you would be right. So I'm gonna say it right up front. Compared to Noir and Cordelia, Innis and Tana do actually stand out comparatively speaking to the previous two. So I'm going to actually mention to you guys that yes, you can actually justify that Innis does stand out and is a little bit more different than the current Wyvern Riders. However, he is kind of similar to Minerva, but she's a 5-star exclusive, so I didn't want to compare it to Minerva. I wanted to keep it in mind for people that have these units already sitting around in their barracks and haven't given them the proper chance. I put a 5-star Shershi here, but that wouldn't even be correct, because you could use a 4-star plus 10 Shershi And that would be even better than a 5-star Chershi. The reason I put a 5-star Chershi is because if you wanted to work on this as a long-term project, it wouldn't be a bad idea. So, comparatively speaking, Innis, very, very fast, good defense, low res, good HP, decent attack. Chershi beats him out in attack though, and that's where the difference in this comes. The difference is going to be definitely noticeable here. Now, Chershi's speed surprisingly reaches 38 speed with Speed Refinement, Fury, Speed Seal. Now, if you give her Goad Flyers or Hone Flyers, she actually reaches 44 speed. Ally Sport could bring you to 46. If you have one Goad, she's at 50 speed. What does that mean? It means that Innis' speed might be a little bit too much. And the extra attack gained from Chershi could actually end up being more valuable than the extra speed on Innis, which is what I'm trying to do in comparing and contrast here. Innis does have a little bit of difference here, and that speed may matter sometimes, but in most cases, I don't think so. If we had something like Fire Sweep Axe actually being a reality, which we do not at this current time, Innis would actually stand out and would be a very good unit to pull for. However, due to that not being the case, Chershi can reach speed levels that are good enough that you don't necessarily need all the extra speed that Innis provides, and you'd actually value that extra attack that Chershi can have. I ended up giving her Slaying Hammer here. I ended up giving her Fury, but you don't need to do those. You could swap out Slaying Hammer for Slaying Axe and run something like Ignis if you wanted to, or Draconic Aura even instead of Bonfire. There's some, you can swap out a lot of things. Fury could be Brazen Attack Speed, and if you're in Brazen Attack Speed, then Innis actually loses all value there, because then she's going to reach some sort of speeds that you can't even compare the two. So, sorry Innis, as hot as you are, Chershi again can kind of take your role in what's provided by you in this current banner. 4-star plus 10 wouldn't even cost you 20,000 feathers, by the way. I like this unit though. I do like this unit. It's pretty good looking. Alright, and finally. I thought we were talking about summer units, not Halloween noise. I mean, why are we talking about Halloween units? Wrong seasonal banner, teacher. There is no comparable differences at this time where Tana competes with, like how I showed off with Innis and Cordelia and Noir, where there were 3-star and 4-star units. This is a 5-star unit, so there's a lot of people that probably don't have Tana, and if you really want to kind of flesh out your roster, then yeah, pulling for Tana is okay. So out of the 3 units we've looked at so far, Tana stands out and is actually quite unique. And this will be the true analysis to be done, where I can give this unit credit for what it deserves to be, okay? Tana is faster, doesn't have a lot faster. She actually has 6 speed more than Halloween Noe. That's a pretty big difference. She also has a unique weapon, which is the reverse of Grimoire. And that one basically lets your other units guidance into in front of Tana, which is very good. Tana's offensive attack is 1 point less than Halloween Noe. Halloween Noe is better as an enemy phase unit because of her high res. But if you already have Halloween Noe, then this is where I think you don't get much value out of pulling Tana, because their roles will be pretty identical on the team comp, minus mobility and such. There's a good build on the side that I'll show you guys, because if you want to use Tana, then the Roarblade build will be Roarblade Fury Desperation. You know, it's pretty standard for Blade Mages, but she pulls it off really well. Tana isn't necessarily the best Blade Mage of Flyer Mages. I'd still probably give that crown over to Nino, and green is a very good color, so is blue. I actually think red mages are not that good, but maybe if you fight against a lot of Grimas or Murs, they could stand out to be pretty decent. So, depends what the meta currently is. And yeah, Tana's pretty good. I'm not going to roast her like I did with the other units. For those of you that have made it this far, definitely Tana's awesome here, and the one thing to be consider pulling for. So on that note, I'm going to actually talk about the banner itself, and should you be pulling here? I'm not going to do the mathematical graphical analysis that I do in the other videos. I'm just going to kind of talk at it as kind of a simple thing, because the answer is a fat no. Just consider with mathematics that all of these units, it being a 4-unit focus banner, means that it's harder to pull the focus unit. Tana, who's on the red, is the hardest to pull for, so you can expect that any of these units will require 120 plus orbs on average to pull. If you pull it in less, consider yourself beating the odds. If you pulled it in more, then you could have ended up being one of the 90th percentiles who spent about 300 orbs. 1 in 10 people spend about 300 orbs to pull any one of these units. That's a lot of orbs, considering we get like 300 orbs a month. So the question you really need to ask yourself is, am I pulling for waifus? Am I pulling because I love these characters and the characters themselves rather than the utility they bring that was given to you through this analysis that we made today? Then yeah, go for it. Not everybody plays the same, and if you like your waifus and your husbandos, then pull for this. Now, one thing I will tell you to consider though is that this banner lasts 33 days. 33 days is a long time. A lot of things are bound to happen from that time frame. We're going to get a new patch. We're going to get a legendary banner with some really high quality units on it. I'm talking like Winter Lisa, Winter Tharja, NY Camilla, legendary Ike, if that's your thing, and a brand new legendary hero. In fact, that's happening in about a week to be announced from now. So you probably shouldn't be pulling on day one, and I'm not going to be too impressed if you did. You have a lot of time to wait until this banner expires, and you can get them near the end of the banner. In fact, we might end up just getting a new flying red mage before this banner expires. I mean, it happened with Bridal Sanaki, where Bridal Sanaki was the better green flying blade mage, and then all of a sudden Nino came out a week or two later. It's like, hey, I'm taking your crown, thank you very much. Look at me, I'm Nino. You know, like that happened. So patience always pays off, and whether you're a collector or you're competitive in this game, be patient and you could be definitely happier with the results of pulling for something else. On top of that, I'd even consider to tell you guys that Choose Your Legends 2, the time frame is coming up definitely by the end of August, would be the same time frame as last year's Choose Your Legends, and those units are definitely going to be of high quality, probably pretty meta defining. And what we do have as well is this second summer banner, which will actually overlap with this banner. So that means you can make an informed, educated decision between both banners on who you should be pulling. That means, please guys, don't pull. If you've already pulled though, feel free to tell me what you did pull in the comments below. And if you think that there's some other units that I may have missed in my analysis that could be very comparable to these units, some things that come to mind, of course, like Leon and Rebecca for Noir, for instance, or even Roderick and Perry. Those are all also comparable units. Feel free to let me know if you've built up these units in the comments below. You know, give me something to look for and to discuss with you guys, and you know, let's have a good discussion going forward. Okay, thanks for all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.